The war on work, that's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, the left ruins everything it touches. They go soft on criminals, they villainize law enforcement. Now we have a major police officer shortage across America. They let left-wing nutbags run our schools, then they institute vax mandates. They go soft on student discipline, and now we have a major teacher shortage in America. Congratulations! Today we learned that 2 million students have left the public school system altogether between 2020 and 2021. That is staggering. And it's not just that nobody wants to work in these toxic environments. Fewer people want to work at all. And again, thanks to the left, liberals loved, remember the COVID lockdowns. They're paid to do nothing, loved it. Ordering from Uber Eats, Zooming happy hours, playing online games like Quiplash or Warzone, binge-watching Tiger King on Netflix. That was fun. So many people were vegging out in front of the screens for so many hours a day, they even had a name for it, Quaranstream. And they marveled at how wonderful a near total economic stoppage was for the climate.
If there is a silver lining to this crisis, it's visible in the skies above China.
Falling pollution levels brought about by lockdowns may have been shining an impact on sunshine.
Wild animals are now roaming city streets.
How do we make sure these pollution levels don't rebound?
All right, the Branch Covidians, they wanted to change the American psyche, and in many ways they succeeded. Students are suffering from lost learning and new anxieties. Employers are suffering because they can't find workers. And many of those who do show up, they're not happy.
I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor.
He's oozing masculinity. Maybe it doesn't define you, work, but your paycheck should maybe be defined by how much you work. But prolonged COVID shutdowns and liberal work-from-home policies, they gave a lot of workers the notion that staying home was now their right. And who can blame them? After all, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, the ultimate queen of entitlement and privilege, she's allowed House members to vote from home since the spring of 2020. This proxy voting scam was supposed to expire last week, but old Nan just extended it for the 18th time. Of course, because of the public health emergency. That same emergency, of course, didn't stop her from traveling to Taiwan or to Italy, and it's certainly not dangerous enough to cancel that congressional baseball game.
I love baseball. We're season ticket holders, have been forever, and this game is so great, and people are so nice. That's what makes it great. But we're competitive, and it's great to be here. Have a little fun.
Well, we were hoping for the mask there, but no luck. Just when Pelosi had her beauty parlor opened for her blowouts during the lockdowns, remember, rules and expectations do not apply to them.
Do you think that any of your colleagues are using proxy voting as an excuse to get out of showing up to work?
No, I don't think so. You know, August is usually a time for us to be in our districts, be on Codell's, and or, you know, if we choose to take a vacation with our families or something like that, August is usually the time for that. That stuff is usually planned way in advance, so I'm sure there were many things that people couldn't reschedule.
Oh, that's why we're doing it for the last 2 years, yeah. What an example these people are setting for America. Grocery store workers, airline employees, they have to show up. But the people's representatives can't be bothered. The swamp strikes again. Oh, and federal workers, you're going to be shocked to know this, I know. They don't want to show up either. The Office of Personnel Management even pushed telework in their recent guidance. OPM doesn't care about how telework affects the people who are paying the actual bills, though. That's you. Have you tried to call, a Medicare office lately? Questions about your passport renewal? Nightmare stories there. But again, remember the bright side. If no one commutes, the planet's going to be cleaner. Yay. But the progressives didn't anticipate the unintended consequences of their green giddiness here. What did they think was going to happen to subways and urban life when fewer people actually commute into the cities? Even a small dip in ridership on the subway could send mass transit into bankruptcy. There's also a sociological aspect to the Sweden-like obsession with work-life balance, says cultural observer Malcolm Gladwell.
It's very hard to feel necessary when you're physically disconnected. I know it's a hassle to come to the office, but like, you know, if you're just sitting in your pajamas in your bedroom, is that the work life you want to live? If we don't feel like we're part of something important, what's the point? It's not, you're not just doing this to get a pay. If it's just a paycheck, then it's like, what have you reduced your life to?
But the left just refuses to think about any of this in a rigorous way. They just declared that a 4-day work week is smarter and better for the climate. But have they stopped to ask that with more long weekends? Won't Americans just choose to travel more? How is that good for the planet? The fact of the matter is, what they really want, is for businesses to have no choice. Eventually, the angle could see government mandates that force workers to stay home, or at least a certain percentage of them. Fake crises will be cited as a reason to take away your freedoms here. It's a climate emergency. It's a racism emergency. It's a health emergency. If it means making you poorer or lowering your standard of living, gutting America's productivity, so be it. It's not like the elites are going to be inconvenienced by any of it. What they've done to our public schools or public safety, our borders, and our energy independence, they've done to our American work ethic. But we can turn this around. We have to. By refusing to sit back and wait for someone else to do the hard work of saving what we love about America. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.